Hola, Ursula here from Simply Cuba Tours. Today I am so excited because Ioanni's got a tiny little bird brought to him, a little house sparrow just turned up. I mean, he's becoming a bird whisperer, resident bird whisperer, which is why I thought I'll speak to you a little bit about bird watching in Cuba today and why it's so important to us. There is over 371 species described, and out of those, there are 26 recognized endemic species in Cuba. Unfortunately, quite a number of these are endangered, which is why it is so important to us, which is to educate you about them, to show you them, to get your love for them ignited as much as we have, so you can help us conserve them and maybe even get their numbers back up, not just keep them at the same level where they are at currently. There is the smallest bird, the bee hummingbird that you will find over here, the Cuban toddy, which we absolutely love, this little green ball which you see behind me on the picture. You will find the Cuban trogon, which boasts the colors of the Cuban flag and the spirit of the Cuban people. And there are just so many more. There is the Cuban solitaire, there's a pata wren, the Cuban gnatcatcher, and much, much more. But they are just the endemics. And as I mentioned, there is 371 odd species prescribed here. So you will find the winter residents coming from North America between August and October, things like ducks, gulls, warblers, sparrows, and some other shorebirds. You will find the spring migrants coming from South America, arriving between late February to May for their nesting season. You will find the grey kingbird, which I've posted a photo about that I absolutely love. You will find the Antillean nighthawk. If you headed over to Ioannis's page the other day, you might have seen the story about him actually not just teasing Ioannis with his sound, but turning up right in front of him and allowing him to take about 50 pictures of him. You will also find things like the Cuban martin, the Wilson's plover, and there are the summer residents that will turn up between September and October. The main nesting season for all of these amazing birds are between March and July, so that's when they are more concentrated in Cuba, and you will really get a large number of them at the end of your lens if you choose to. So the best sites for bird watching, there is the western areas like Las Terrazas, San Diego, Dos Los Baños, La Guira, Soroa. We absolutely love Soroa. That's a place where Ioannis can go now, even with lockdown, to bring you some amazing bird pictures. You will find the Cuban solitaire here, the Cuban grass squid predominantly. We also, if you come with us on a birding photography tour, we'll take you to the Zapata Peninsula, which is a beautiful area. There is over 5,000 square kilometers of untouched wetlands, and having several sites where you can spot birds. There is Playa Larga, Brehamas, Palpita, La Turba, Las Salinas, and more. And the best part is that this area is not only beautiful for bird watching, but if you're into snorkeling or diving instead, it also has the most amazing underwater world to see as well. There is also the Cayos, which we don't normally go there, but Cayo Coco or Cayo Paradon, Cayo Guillermo, sorry, I can't say that properly, where you will see the Cuban sparrow, the gnatcatcher, the thick-billed vireo, and the Bahama mockingbird. If you then venture further east to Sierra de Nahasa, Sierra de Cubitas, or Rio Maximo in Camagüey, you will find things like the Cuban parakeet, the giant kingbird that I mentioned previously, the palm crow, some plain pigeons, and it is also the largest nesting ground for flamingos, which is just absolutely spectacular. The best time of the year to come to watch these beautiful birds, well, really all year around, but obviously the weather wise, January to April is absolutely beautiful. It will be having, as I mentioned, a larger number of birds around March, April to see. And you will, if you come back in October, November, that's actually when you will see the most amount of migratory birds. In between, we actually don't run tours, birding tours between April and October, November, because it is the wet season, it is harder to get out there, and we wouldn't want you to get rained out. Not to mention, with more water in the ground or in the air, there is also more mosquitoes, so it's better to stay away at that time. So really, January to April or October to November is quite beautiful with the most amount of birds. Now, what should you bring if you are preparing to come for a birding photography tour? Consider bringing lightweight clothing. Long sleeve is always good, although it does get quite warm. Long pants to keep you away from the mozzie bites. Obviously, hiking boots are handy. Make sure that they're also comfortable and not too heavy. And make sure that you bring a hat, waterproof hiking boots, and color-wise, green, grey or tan are the best, so you can blend into the surroundings. Of course, as we mentioned it in our video and in our blogs before, make sure that you bring a guidebook. The Endemic Birds of Cuba by Nils Navarro is one of our go-to. This will help you actually, as you spot birds, read more about them, educate yourself more about them, and it's quite exciting when you can go, hang on a minute, I read this before I come. I wonder if the one that I'm looking at is in fact what I think it is. Of course, bring your notebook, bring waterproof pen, your camera, mosquito repellent, sunscreen. They're always handy. So there are a few guidelines when you're coming bird watching, bird photography tours, and obviously one is that if you come with us, we make sure that we keep the group small, and the reason for that is that we want you to have the best experience, but also we want to make sure that the environment is looked after, that we don't leave too big a footprint on the natural habitats on the bird, and we want to make sure that their welfare is also staying awesome and that we're not stressing them out by visiting the area. We will ask you not to go too close to any bird's nest or the birds themselves, and as I mentioned, especially around nesting season where there may be eggs in the nest, we don't want you to go too close in case the mother then decides not to come back, because obviously the main reason is to conserve the birds and make sure that we increase their number, not decrease their number. We will also ask you to not disturb the birds, as I mentioned. Walk slowly, walk cautiously, make sure you don't break any branches, keep your voices down when you're walking around, and observe in silence. When you're taking photography, no flash, no shiny objects, definitely no bird calls, no baiting, none of that is going to be happening. Birds' welfare is our highest priority. If we see anything rare, we actually will report it back to the relevant authorities to make sure that they get noted and that they get looked after. Obviously, it goes without saying that littering is out of question. Throwing plastic around is a big no-no. And again, bring your water bottle, keep your rubbish with you, and make sure you dispose of anything that you may have created on the tour in the correct manner after the tour. Sticking to the rules means that we can keep the birds protected and enjoyed not by yourselves but others in the future as well. I really hope you found this educational, and I hope you will now go and check out some more about birding photography and the birds, and let's see if we can get you inspired to check out this wonderful world of birds in Cuba with us. Speak to you soon.